Hello everyone and welcome to Be Safe, Brevard County's premier show about crime prevention and public safety. I'm your host, Sheriff Wayne Ivey, and today we're going to talk about one of the programs in Brevard County that I think just everybody absolutely, from the minute they hear about it, falls in love with it, and that's our Paws and Stripes program at the Brevard County Jail. Our panel today is some people that are just very passionate about this program. I'm going to introduce them. Major Darrell Hibbs from our Brevard County Corrections. Deputy Soto, who is very involved in the program and actually has a kind of unique story to share about it. Deputy Twig, who also helps run this program. And Stacy, who is actually a participant in the program with the Paws and Stripes training of our last guest, who is Champ, who is probably the most relaxed out of everybody up here. As I've told everyone, the format of this show is just a question and answer about the different things that we bring to light. And we're going to start, Major, with you. How did Paws and Stripes come about, and what is it? What does it do?
Well, Paws and Stripes program came about in 2006. Started out with 3 dogs, and now we're up to 12 dogs through an 8-week program. We have teamed up in partnership with North, Central, and South Brevard SPCAs. We go and we do a dog selection, and we bring them into the correctional facility there in Sharps. And not only do we get our corrections officers involved, but we also get the inmates involved to try to make a positive impact on dogs that may not be adoptable for the community, but also give them the training that they need, and also give the inmates the training they need too, so whenever they get released from custody, their success level will be better and maybe not come back and stay with us again.
So it's kind of a win-win for everybody. The dogs that are rescue dogs that are in our partnerships with our local humane shelter and our SPCA, and so we're actually hand selecting those dogs, putting them in this program. Is there certification that happens, or?
Yeah, they get through, the dogs go through certifications, and also the inmates go through certain certifications as well, so they have certificates when they leave on the outside. I think I'll defer back to Stacy on her certifications and her experiences once she gets a chance to talk. But yeah, there's certifications on both sides of the house. So when you get an adoptable dog, you can rest assured that it's a well-trained dog, a well-behaved dog. Our success rates with the Paws and Stripes program has been 100% adoption since 2006, and there's been 220 dogs that's actually went through the program. So I think the perfection of the program speaks for itself.
Oh, I agree, and let me give you an idea of the impact this program has. Recently, we did a graduation of 13 dogs at the Sheriff's Office jail there, and just as a course of normal business, we posted that graduation ceremony on our Sheriff's Office Facebook page. And to give you an idea of the impact this program has and how it's received by this community, we had almost 80,000 people share that post from it. And we had people from as far away as Germany responding back, talking about what a great program it is, what a win-win it is for both the person that's engaged in the training, Stacy, as you are, and the dog itself. Now, you're actually with us because of this program, is that correct?
Yes, I used to work at the prison in Orlando, and some of my coworkers told me about Paws and Stripes and said that that looked like something that I would want to get involved with. And as I lived in the area in Brevard County anyway, I applied, and I always had my sights set on Paws and Stripes. And when one of the other deputies was retiring, I saw my opportunity and slid right in there. And now I'm got my dream job. I'm working with the inmates and working with dogs also.
Wow, that is just absolutely amazing. So you came to the Brevard County Sheriff's Office because of the Paws and Stripes program.
Yeah, I thought it was fabulous.
What does it mean? What does it do?
I've always been an animal lover, so and I know that the shelters are overcrowded and how many dogs, maybe don't find a home. So I knew that there was a need, and also the inmates, they need an outlet. They need something to work for, something to motivate them to stay busy and maybe set some goals for themselves. And it's, like you said, it's a win-win. So glad to be a part of it.
Excellent. Deputy Twig, you've been involved in this program for quite some time. You're an absolute dog lover, canine, everything else. What does it involve? She's a little bit nervous. That's all right. How did you get started in the program?
One of the deputies ended up getting transferred to another position, and I had my eye on the program also, and I was very excited when a position came open
Excellent.
to train dogs. It's
Now, how many dogs have you trained? 100?
3
I mean,
classes.
we've put, I think the last I knew, we've put like 221 dogs through the program.
I've
So,
done 4 classes.
4 classes.
So, whatever that is.
Now, have you adopted one of the dogs yourself?
No.
All right, all right. Stacy, you're here on the show today because you love this program so much and you care about it. Tell me what it means to you.
Everything. I love this program. It's taught me a lot. It's taught me good work skills, communication. I mean, it's taught me patience. It's taught me a lot. I don't know what I would do without it, actually. You bond with the animals, you bond, you know what I mean? You learn working skills to go home with you. It's just great. I love it.
Tell me about Champ.
He's amazing. He's 1.5. He knows all his basic commands. He's very energetic and fun, too.
He does not look energetic right now.
Yeah, he's
but
tired
I know
today.
I've seen him in action. So.
Yeah.
Now, when a dog goes through the program, both the dog and the handler, in this case, goes through and gets certified. So, what is your certification? What will it do?
I have my canine CKC. Well, the dog gets the canine CKC Good Citizen title, and I get the first aid and CPR, and then you can also get the level 1 and level 2 dog training tests. Yes.
Now, we've done 221 dogs.
Yes.
Through the program. Walk me through it. What happens? We pick the dog. They come in. Here comes Champ. Probably not the most obedient little fella in the world.
Yeah, you see he's laying down on the floor right now, but a lot of the dogs that come into the program are abused or neglected animals in the community. And they go out and they do a selection process on dogs that they feel that can respond to the training programs. Each dog has a different challenges that come into it. That's what's great about Deputy Twig and Deputy Soto, is that they're able to recognize those different challenges of those dogs. And it's not a matter of perfection, but it's a matter of having a purpose and having a passion about what you do. The inmates that get involved with the program too, and the specific dogs, their training levels are different and their needs are different as well. So by putting the combination of all 3 together to try to meet the certifications that they have to go through and the testing requirements that they have to do is just outstanding. As soon as the dogs come into the program, it goes back to basic obedience. And once you get the basic obedience down, and then they get into some more advanced techniques with the dogs and so forth. So when they go to back to the shelter areas, they're able to demonstrate those techniques to the person that maybe want to come in and adopt an animal. And those dogs have been all adopted out, just based on the skill levels that they receive from the training from Stacy and all of her partners out there, as well as with Deputy Twig and Deputy Soto.
Deputy Soto, you have some unique training background yourself. You told us earlier, I think you've trained everything from dogs to grizzly bears or something. I'm not sure. What all is your background in training?
I did spend 5 years as a dog trainer in Orlando, in the Oviedo area. And part of that time I was also training tigers and lions with a place called Tiger's Eye Productions, and also in Tampa at Wildlife on Easy Street, and with Clyde Beatty Cool Brother Circus. So very different techniques, so between training cats and training dogs, but obviously dogs are a lot easier.
Really? Now, see, I wouldn't have guessed that. So.
Well, dogs want to please you. Cats, they don't really care. So.
Yeah, that's excellent. Now, do you just train the dogs? Is that your only job?
I work with the inmates. I mean, we do classes as far as the canine CPR and first aid. And
in addition to doing the paws and stripes training, do you have other duties that you're assigned to at the jail and everything?
no, it's definitely a full-time job.
Is it?
Yes, it's long hours, a lot of weekends that we pop in and just be sure that the dogs are okay. And we work, even when we don't have dogs, we have to tear down the kennels and clean everything and make repairs and be choosing more dogs. So it's definitely full-time.
Now, I got to go to the graduation the other day. It was the first one that I had an opportunity to do as the sheriff. And a lot goes into that. A lot goes setting it up and working with the different organizations and stuff. There's a lot of people that support this out there, from the Humane Society, the SPCA, all the way around. Walk me through a graduation. What happens when the people first sit in the chair? What happens when graduation starts?
Well, we bring all the dogs on stage and introduce the inmates and which ones do tricks, and some of the dogs perform tricks, and then we hand out the certifications.
Now, I got to see some of the dogs doing tricks, and in the last graduation, one of them was jumping over other dogs. I don't remember his name.
Elvis.
What was it?
Elvis.
Elvis. How do you forget that?
Harold.
Harold.
When what goes into, and Stacy, maybe you're the best person to answer this, what goes into identifying what that dog's abilities are from it?
We just kind of test the waters with certain extra tricks. We just see what they do. With Harold, we would do jump, and he would jump up, so we decided we would try to see if he would jump over another dog.
Harold actually wasn't comfortable being around other dogs when he came, so he was a little bit snappy toward the other dogs, and we thought, what a great opportunity, make it fun, make it a game. So we actually taught him to crawl underneath Elvis and then jump over him. So that was, I guess, part of the beauty of it, was how far he'd come from being nervous to actually feeling so comfortable he'd jump over one.
Now, part of the success of this program is obviously we're rescuing an animal in distress, and we're working closely with our partners from the Humane Society and the SPCA and Animal Control, all of those. But that's only one side of it. That just speaks to the dog. There's another component that goes to this with the aid and the help that it does with the inmate that's involved as well.
I know it's your philosophy, Sheriff, as well as everybody in the jails, is we have to watch inmates. That's what we do. We have to make sure the community's safe. And whether we're watching the inmate, Stacy, perform and interact with the animals, or whether we watch Stacy sit in a housing area and do absolutely nothing, we still have a responsibility to the public to maintain and manage those inmates. And the more inmates that we can get into the programs, the better off we're going to be served as a community. So the more programs that we add into the facility, as long as you're not your high-risk violent offenders, that's what our goals and objectives are there, is to get more and more people involved. That's why the program has increased originally from 3 until 12 dogs now, is because we want to see that expansion take place. We want to benefit those inmates. Deputy Soto and Deputy Twig do an outstanding job, and it is a full-time job. But whether they're watching that inmate train these animals, or there's these canines, or whether we have them in the housing areas monitoring the same inmates, I think it's just a win for everyone, for the community and everybody to be able to do that.
And there's a nurturing side of this that goes along as well, that Stacy who's so gracious to be with us here today. Stacy's actually learning from the dog at the same time from it. And Stacy, what do you learn from Champ? What could Champ possibly teach a human?
A lot. He gives you a lot of self-confidence, because you take a lot of pride in the work that you do. He makes you actually believe that you can go back out and be a productive member of society. Like, you just take everything from it: patience, pride, work ethics, everything. He teaches you a lot, more than it's easier doing it with him versus saying. It's just so much. There's so much you learn, so much.
Now, walk me through a day of training. Do we train every day? Is that
Yes. Well, 5 days a week, Monday through Friday.
okay?
We come in the morning and, of course, clean the kennels, and then we have the social hour where the dogs go out and they play. Basically, together, we try to pair up dogs that play nice together.
Because that's a huge part of the dog certification, is being able to get that dog to a point where a family can come in and select them and adopt them from that. So that's socializing is a big part. I know my dog Patton. He's not very sociable, so that's a problem for us.
And then we leash up the dogs and we take a long walk. Then we stop and we train for a while, and we keep the training sessions kind of short, about a half hour, and then we walk back, break them, and then we have some class time, and then the rest of it is cleaning and dog breaks. And In the middle of the day when we have some downtime, if there's a dog that we want to work on a special skill, or if they have maybe a special unique problem, then we take some time for that one individual dog.
We have some dogs that come in pretty bad situations, right? I know that there was one out there that had fallen off of a truck before we got him, and we are actually doing a great service for these dogs and giving them a new lease on life too, if you will. So.
We've had dogs that were on the euthanasia list when we chose them, and they've gone on to become therapy dogs. We have one dog who's a therapy dog at a hospice, and one that was adopted by a family with an autistic child, and now he goes to school with the autistic boy.
Boy, what a whole new dynamic that a lot of people don't even realize is there is such a need now for therapy dogs, and I mean, we see them in all roles. We're actually experimenting with a program that deals with therapy dogs for domestic violence victims and victims of crime. So that's a whole new dynamic.
Hospitals. I've seen them in hospitals as well.
Hospitals and working with Alzheimer's patients and things. So it's a whole new dynamic that this brings. Now, this is not the only program we have out there with our inmates, engaging them in the process. Tell me some of the other things we have.
Well, we try to look at it from a couple different standpoints. We have the vocational type program, which is like the Paws and Stripes, or our culinary type program. Of course, the inmates do operate our kitchen for cost-saving measures there as well. But we also have educational programs, GED programs. We have the religious programs, any type of religion that an inmate may have coming into the facility. We have 2 on-site chaplains to be able to provide those programs and those needs to them as well. We also operate the farm as well, so that's another one of our vocational type is going out and picking up trash alongside the road, keeping the community clean, doing what we can for the community, not only for the inmate, but for the citizens of Brevard County as well. So any inmate that'll meet our classification criteria, we try to put them in a program, whether it's institutionally inside of our facility to help us better run our facility and save tax dollars, doing our own janitorial and those type of things, keeping the facility clean, as well as the inmates that are less risk that go outside the facility that are able to do a benefit for the community as well. So.
Now, we have, we use a lot of inmate labor for construction projects, and I think we even have a sewing program or something.
We got a sewing program. We realized years ago, and what she has on right now was made by the inmates in the sewing program. We found a need that buying the material and making our own inmate uniforms was so much cheaper than trying to buy them on their own. So what we did is we got some inmates, got some sewing machines, and decided to make our own, and they received certifications on that as well. So whenever they leave our facility, if there's a job or a need in the community for those people to go out and work, we're trying to better that inmate to be able to go back out and reduce our recidivism rate within our jail, which betters the community altogether. So yes.
Debbie Twigg, why you love this program so much? What makes this the one for you? Why not over in sewing or out at the farm or something of that?
Working with the dogs is very rewarding, seeing them go from a horrible position to a home that with kids and swimming in swimming pools, and also for the inmates, watching them start out in our program not so good and then ending up much better than when they came in.
Excellent, excellent. Stacy, is this the only program you've participated in?
Yes, sir.
And did they have to talk you into it, or
I put in a request.
I
I asked. There was girls in my pod that were a part of it, and I was super stoked. I was like, oh, Paws and Stripes, you know? Because I love animals. I've been an animal lover all my life. So this is the only program I wanted to do.
Now, this is not your first dog?
No, sir.
Which do you remember your first dog? Because I know
Mary. I didn't train her the whole time. I came in towards the end of the class, but Mary, and then Crash, which was the one that fell out of the truck.
Oh, Crash is actually the one that fell out of the truck?
Yes, sir.
Tell me about his condition when we first got him.
That's why we call him Crash.
He was tiny. He was a little. He's always been a lover, but he was tiny. He chewed his way out of an animal control truck, going down 95, going 70 miles per hour. So he was banged up, but he left in good condition. He left hefty, and he knows all his commands, and he's just amazing.
So let me see if I got this right. Crash escaped from animal control, and so we put him out at the jail. Is that what we basically did with Crash?
Pretty much that's it. Yes.
So, now, walk me through training Champ. Obviously, Champ is pretty relaxed right now, and I know if time permits, we're actually going to try and engage Champ in some of the things that you've worked with him on, and I guess the biggest thing is making Champ ready to go to somebody's home to get him there. So, walk me through a day with Champ.
Like Miss Soto said, we get up and we feed them and clean them, but we go out to our training area and we just try to do the basic commands, to sit. We teach them the hand signals and everything, and then the stay and down. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
I can tell you this, 8 weeks ago, Champ would not be sitting here like
no,
this.
for sure.
What was
Definitely.
he
It's
like?
just-
You could say his name and he would,
He would urinate on himself.
yeah.
Really?
Yes, he was very scared. Anybody came up to him, he was cowering down. He didn't.
Very
But
scared.
now, I mean, he would probably be hiding before 8 weeks ago. He'd probably not be laying on the stage like it's nothing.
Yeah. I hear how emotional you get when you talk about him. It's also kind of unique to, I don't know if you guys can see it, but almost every time that Stacy says his name, he looks up at her. Or even when she starts to talk, he looks up versus anybody else talking. It's, you can see that obvious relationship there. How hard is it to let go of Champ or Mary or Crash? How hard is that?
Super hard, really hard. You get really close to them, you know. It's actually, in a way, kind of therapeutic too, you know. You could have the worst day ever and you go down and train with the dogs and it's a whole new day, you know. They just want to be loved, and you bond with them really a lot. You bond with them a lot, for sure.
Now we have, in addition to the Paws and Stripes, we have other canine components out at the jail that are actually trained by our law enforcement officers out there. What do they do, Major? What?
We have bloodhounds, and we also have a drug dog as well. Deputy Twig is part of that program. If there's a missing child, or if there's someone missing in the community, or there's a need for a tracking dog, an escaped suspect, we can take the bloodhounds out. They're trained to take a scent and track the person down and trying to find out their location. So whether it's in the law enforcement where we're looking for a suspect, or it's in the community side where we're looking maybe for missing persons, we have those resources available where we're able to do that. Right now we have seven bloodhounds?
Yep.
7 bloodhounds, and we also have a drug detection dog that we use inside the facility as well, whether it's for the inmate mail that comes through or any other contraband that may try to come in through the jail process. We have a drug that we're able to utilize on site to be able to detect those needs to make sure we're running a safe institution, not only for the inmates, but for the officers to work in as well.
Now you have one of the bloodhounds that you. Which one is yours? The only one that I always remember the name of is Gordo. That's out there. Which one is yours?
Radar.
Radar.
Yep.
How long have you been training Radar?
I've had him for 7 years.
7 years.
And before him, I had Haas for 6 years.
Yeah. Now they stay right there. They stay on site there at the facility. And how many trainers do we have? How many people are involved with our canines out there?
We have 9 trainers.
9. All right. Any interest in doing that?
I actually tried out for them, did not pass.
Wow, with your background, I'm surprised.
It's a lot goes into the tryouts. So I wasn't selected that time, but I think that it was for the best, because then that was about the time that the Paws and Stripes program had an opening, and so I think that it was just meant to be.
Yeah. I can tell you this much. We did a previous episode of Be Safe, and I had Buck on the show, and Buck is a little bit out of control, and probably needs to be with Stacy for a little while, from what I can tell, so that he'll behave more like Champ. Tell me a little bit about our jail. How many people do we house, average inmates out there?
Our average daily population right now is running around 1,400. We've been as close to 2,000 before in the past. We like to utilize things like case management and so forth to try to keep the population down, to keep the costs down, not only for the working environments for the officers, but also for saving money for the taxpayers, for the citizens as well. But right now, from soup to nuts, all the way through, from county sentence inmates all the way to your 30 or 40 maximum security, high risk inmates, we're right around 1,400.
And there's a lot of components going behind the scenes out there, pharmacy, doctors, mental health, all of it. That's all encompassed.
We like to think it's a full-service facility. You have your security components, you have your medical components, you have your feeding components, anything that the inmates may need, because they're not at free at liberty to leave, and we don't allow things from the outside to come in just for security reasons. We have our on-site maintenance if there's any maintenance issues. So it's like a city in its own.
Yeah, it's very much like a aircraft carrier almost. It's a
Yes.
city all inclusive to itself, and with a pretty healthy population. Stacy, you ready to? Let's see. We're getting close on time. You ready to see if Champ is ready to market himself here?
Yes.
That bag apparently is his signal.
Yeah.
Well, let's see what Champ will do.
Might take this time to mention that Champ is still available for adoption. He's located at the SPCA of North Brevard.
And
there's
I forgot I'm
That's
plugged
okay.
in.
You probably have to do it
How am I
right there on the
supposed to-
corner.
Oh, okay. Champ, sit. Down. Up. Champ, up. Paw. Paw. Hey, paw. Good boy. Good boy. That's about all we can do in this little space. We can do rollover too, but he doesn't. There's not enough room for him. Good boy.
Thank you for being here.
Now, not only is Champ available, but we constantly have dogs that are available for adoption. I know we have a link off of our Brevard County Sheriff Office webpage that'll take you straight to the Paws and Stripes program. So we would invite all of our viewers to please go. We always have some of our pets up there that are available for adoption. Stacy, let me, as we wind down here, your time with us as it draws to an end, you still have this passion for pets, and
Oh, yeah.
what would you do? What's your goals when you walk out?
My first thing is to try to get a job working with dogs. For sure, definitely. I already want. My grandmother is going to be filling out apps like my last week here, so I definitely want to work with animals for sure.
Excellent.
It's my passion.
Well, I want to take this time to thank each of you for being here today. A wealth of knowledge. It's obvious your passion for this program and for all the great things that this program does. Stacy, thank you for sharing your story with us.
Thank you.
And thank you for sharing Champ with us today. Now he's a little bit more energetic as we start to go.
Can I make one last closing?
We're actually just about out on time. Please go to BrevardCountySheriff.com and look at our Paws and Stripes program. And as always, I want to thank our viewers, our production team that makes all of this possible, and just remind all of our citizens of Brevard County to please be safe.